Hi everyone, today we're diving into a hot topic in the sim racing community. Should you upgrade from the Logitech G29 to the Fanatec CSL Direct Drive system? If you're considering making the switch, here's some key points you need to know before taking the plunge. Number one, the biggest and most noticeable difference between the two systems, I've had them both, played with them both, is the force feedback. The CSL system offers direct drive force feedback, that's what the DD stands for, which is significantly stronger and more precise than the gear-driven system of the G29. This means you'll feel every little bump, curve, and slide with much greater detail. However, be prepared for a learning curve as the increased feedback can be quite intense at first, and keep your arm out of that wheel or it's gonna get cracked because that power is pretty strong even at 5 Newton meters. Secondly, the build quality between the two is very different. The CSL is built like a tank. It is heavier, bigger, and more robust compared to the G29. This sturdiness translates to a more immersive and realistic driving experience, but if you don't have a dedicated racing cockpit or a sturdy desk, the weight and size of the CSL might be a bit cumbersome, so you do have to think about that before making the purchase and making sure you have all of the specifications with regards to measurement and weight are going to work for your current setup, and if not, you're going to be looking at figuring out other ways to making sure that this system can be installed properly for you to take advantage of. Which brings us to desk compatibility, and I have a much more detailed video about this stuff, specifically around some things that they don't tell you about the Fanatec CSL before you buy them. So in that video, I go over in more detail about the desk and the desk clamp issues, so definitely watch that. But here, for the desk compatibility issue, I will say CSL DD requires a solid setup. If your current desk is small or has a keyboard tray, you might run into some issues with the clamp. And the clamp system on the CSL Direct Drive is designed for stability. It's pretty hefty and feels strong, but it needs enough space, enough clearance to fit properly on the desk without obstructing too much of your view from the screen. So you do have to take into consideration your distance from the screen and the height of your chair, your seat. These things will matter once you try to install it and use the system regularly. Consider upgrading your desk or investing in a dedicated racing cockpit for the best experience. I don't have a racing cockpit myself. I use the CSL DD on a desk using the clamp, and with my current setup, I did buy a bigger desk that gave me more space, that allows me to have the proper distance and height, and it works like a charm. The main thing to remember here is that no, you don't have to buy so many other things, but you just have to be careful and do your homework before you make the purchase to make sure you have a plan in place for how you're going to install it and get it working. Let's move on to number 4, which is the pedals. The G29 comes with a decent set of pedals, including a clutch. In fact, I kind of missed that system for the pedals, because the CSL DD's pedals, while they are adjustable and they are built with tougher material, all metal, and they are heavy, they do still feel less premium in comparison in a weird way to the Logitech pedals. And I think it has to do with their appearance and the feel, the compression, force, and all of that stuff. The Logitech, I just have fond memories of in terms of the pedals, while with my Fanatec CSL, I do feel like it's lacking a little bit. And I think it has to do with the base, because the CSL pedals, they can be slippery on carpet because it's all metal, so it's actually more slippery than your Logitech base, which was kind of also very heavy, but it did have those teeth that you could use to plant it on carpet. This system, the CSL DD, doesn't have that. So you have to have a plan B to figure out how you're going to prevent the wobbliness if you're going to be placing them on a carpet. And as far as the general pedal quality is concerned, I do feel like the load cell attachment is necessary to get a full, complete experience. Now let's talk about number 5, which is the price between the two. So the CSL Direct Drive system is more expensive, but not by a lot. And I think this is the main reason why I feel CSL Direct Drive system is totally worth getting over the Logitech G29 or 920 or 922, whatever system they currently have. Not their Direct Drive system, which is even more expensive, so we wouldn't even touch on that. but their non-direct drive system, for me, they're not appealing because the price difference nowadays is so small. I just looked it up, and the G29 is still going for $270 brand new. Obviously, you can find them cheaper used, but with used, you always have that question mark of what are you gonna get. I bought mine used around $200, and mine had a little scuff mark on the steering wheel, which I got used to. It wasn't a big deal, but that's the kind of stuff you get when you get things used. But the brand new price at $270 is only $130 away from getting a system that is much better in CSL DD Ready to Race bundle. I would much rather get that system. So my recommendation, just based on the price alone, would be to absolutely pick up the CSL Direct Drive system over the Logitech system. If you can save $200 or $270 for a G29, you can wait a little longer and save a couple of $100 more and get a much better system that will give you much more joy and a really solid experience. And finally, we're going to talk about setup and compatibility. Logitech is obviously known for being a very universally accepted and easy to install and run plug and play kind of a system. Works with everything, most games, there's no issues. You just have to play around with the wheel settings here and there, but it works every time with every game almost. The CSL DD is also pretty straightforward, but it does require some additional steps compared to the plug-and-play nature of the G29. You'll need to download, for example, the Fanatec CSL control panel, and you'll probably have to play around with the settings in the control panel as well as the settings in each of the games that you want to use it with, land on settings that work for you for what you're trying to do. Having said that, the Fanatec CSL DD is compatible with most racing games that I play. It's compatible with a set of Forza, it's compatible with Beam and G, it was compatible with Need for Speed, and for me personally, most importantly, it is compatible and works like a charm with Forza Horizon 5. So in closing, to answer our question for this video, should you upgrade from Logitech G29 to the Fanatec CSL DD? The answer is absolute yes. If you can wait a little bit longer, save a little bit more money, and spend the extra couple of $100 to get a system that is just way more complete, way more powerful, and the experience is way more authentic and quiet. Did I mention quiet? That's all I have to say. If you are going to switch, just make sure you do all your research and get all the specifications and the size and all of that sorted out for yourself. Know your setup, know the compatibility with your desk. And once you've made sure of all these things, you will not regret it. I've had the CSL system for 4 months and I still love it like I got it yesterday. So let me know what you think about this, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.